Hello, beloved ones. Haumutime here, the soul MRI psychic surgeon, helping you to finally break free from generational emotional pain and sexual shame so that you can have the capacity to receive what you truly desire. And today I want us to talk about the abandonment wound from the father. I love this conversation because often when I talk about the father wound, I get lots of responses. And someone once said, "Don't tell me that I am an arrogant." Whew, there was just a whole lot of words. And one thing that I love as well is when people show up and be like, "Nope, my father was present." And I'm like, cool. And I love me some I'm daddy's girl people here. Because it's not about what we say about our parents. It's not about whatever stories. Let's look at your relationships, right? What story are they telling you? Let's look at your career, at your business. How do you show up? Do you have the structure that can hold whatever that you want to bring through? Do you find yourself in relationships that are more expansive, that support who you be, where you feel safe to be loved, not only in your beautiful moments, but also in your ugliest moments? Are you with somebody who can hold space for you, even during vulnerable times? Or you are the kind of person who your partner loves and appreciates you only when you do, right? When you are in that rescue mode, he needs me. And often what I find quite interesting is when we want to play God or bring God into our toxic situation. I'm doing this because of God, because I know that if I leave, this person is gonna suffer. What about you? What about your pains? Right? So when we go back to the father wound, like I said, sometimes the deepest abandonment comes from a father who never left. He is present but emotionally unavailable. And he may have been a good father. Sometimes it's just because they're fucking tired. They are tired. Not tired. Tired, right? Maybe because of old age. And now it's like, oh, dad is present. What has happened prior? Are you able to discern when the energy that is coming from the woman, your mother, is more of resentment, despite the man trying to be nice? And I may be talking about a man and a woman here, but it's not always the case. Sometimes it's a woman who embodies that masculine energy. I've worked with a lot of people who's like the father was more like just a just a present father, very soft, no voice, but the woman is the one who is embodying the masculine energy. In Setswana, we say "Thako go lla tsa gagwe," as in like she's the one who gets to decide what gets to be done, who gets to do what, and all that. So when you say "not my father," like somebody said, an abandonment wound imprints itself in many ways. I mentioned one, a father who is present but emotionally unavailable, a father who is present but everybody's afraid of him, scared, right? You can't have a conversation with him. You don't even know how it is to relate with the masculine because he was just present but not available. He never created that space, that structure where you get to feel safe in his presence. Now you meet, or even when I talk about being scared of him, it's more like he just shuts you off. You get to listen what he gets to say, right? As a child, you don't have any voice. It's his word or nothing. and now you meet a partner who treats you like that, you can make it about your partner, or you can wake the fuck up and look in the mirror, right? Like somebody who said, "Do you want to tell me that I'm arrogant?" and a lot of lists that he mentioned. I said, "Yeah, because you're an extension of your father. If your father got your mother pregnant and then he left without even, you know, being responsible for what he did, that's arrogance, right? That's there's so many words that you can say. But at the end of the day, you are him. He is you. And that imprint is what you carried before your mother gave birth to you. It informs you. Often we like to say, I'm not my past. Yes, you are not your past, but your past informs you. You cannot run away from it. You cannot run away from the wounds, the imprints, covered, known and unknown, that were there at home. I'm somebody who was very attuned since I was a child. This is why even when I talk about certain things, some people in my family will feel like, I don't know what you're talking about. Why? Because either they tuned out, but I was present to discern even that energy, like for instance, between my parents. May that soul rest in peace. But there was just that energy of resentment that I could feel from my mother's side, right? And having my father who passed on when I was 14, I was still young. I still needed my father in my life, but he was not there. So at a certain level, as much as his death, there is a part of me that still feels abandoned. We may tell ourselves that, oh, it's God's will. Like mind wise, we understand there is nothing that we can do. It's death. But it registers as abandonment. And a part of you may still be looking, craving for that for your father's presence, however way that he was showing up. Because I never believed in my life that even when I started like being aware of the mother wound and father wound and the role that they play in our lives, I never believed that I have a father wound. Why? Because my father loved me. Second thing, he died when I was 14, right? And my mother was present with me until I was 30. So for me, it's like the person who influenced me and who was there and whatever back and forth that we had was my mom. And now, when life was happening and I was awakening more to myself, I get to come face to face with my father. And I'll never forget this because that's one of the cry that I've ever had in my life, in my vision, in my spiritual journey, was just breaking down. And I said, Dad, you are the reason I'm going through all this. Because it's like I'm watching a video that is playing out with the toxic relationships and everything. My children being taken away from me, being in court back and forth, being with partners who were not willing to hold space and support me in my mission. It's kind of like they would do everything that they could to belittle me, right? So I connected with him and I was wailing and crying. And I feel emotional even when I talk about it. After that journey, I was like, oh shit. And he came to me and he said, I had invisible chain when I was still on earth, right? And especially when we look at many different aspects, which is, for instance, alcohol addiction. I don't know if, even when I talk about alcohol addiction when it comes to my father, a part of me is like, was it really addiction? Because he was just drinking a lot. It's just normal. Even when I go back home where we're talking about, oh, people in Mount drink a lot and all that. It's like, oh yeah, it's normal. We drink and all that. But at the end of the day, is that the identity that you want to carry with you? Just because everybody was drinking, everybody's still drinking, do you still want to carry that identity, like belong to that group just because everybody does it, right? You get to question yourself. It's normal. It's normalized. But do you really want to belong to the normal? Do you want to adopt these patterns that kill you, right? Sometimes they really kill you as in like they fuck up your body. Sometimes they kill you as in like they fuck up your family. You are not present. And sometimes this is like one of the experiences that I had when I talk about the relationships that I was in, the people that I was attracting. The trending pattern was alcohol. And at first I didn't even realize it because I was also drinking, right? So it was like normal, even when my mother at times was like, how you need to stop drinking. I was like, but my father was drinking too, mom, so I just gotta do what everybody did, right? That was like the young version of me that felt like I can just shut my mom by saying, this is what my father did, it runs in the family, so I'm just gonna keep up with it. But when it comes to the pain of the relationships that I was in, comes to the pain of fighting for people, in my opinion, who were not even able to be present for the children at the level that I felt the father should, but still they were fighting with me for the children. So I was just like, what the hell is this, right? But that was a path for me to awaken into the truth of who I am, for me to be able to disconnect from what I was born into, for me to be able to look into the wounds that I inherited that were passed on, because they didn't start with our parents. They started with our ancestors. And then that pain got passed on. Because when I connect with people, I may be talking about the behaviors, which is like alcohol. You just want to numb that pain. You don't want to feel it. A relationship fail, instead of sitting down and taking accountability for your contribution, you want to find excuses. Like I said, sometimes just because someone is faithful, then we believe that, oh, that drinking does not matter. At least they're faithful. At least. You are not here to settle for at least. You are here to embody your extraordinary self. You are here to awaken to your highest truth. You are here to create your soul's desires. You are here to be to be with somebody who loves you and elevates you into your unique essence. You are here to be with somebody who loves you in your beautiful and ugliest moment, not somebody who abandons you when you need them the most. And for me, these are the relationships that I experience. This is why when I connect with women that tell me that you don't understand, but I still love him, who told you that you're going to stop loving that person? It's not a mistake that you met them. And love does not end. The problem is we put love in a box. It hurts because you love them. It hurts because you love your father, you love your parents, but they were not able to hold space for your magnificence. They parented you from the wound. And you're going to keep on attracting the people who are going to love you at the level that your parents loved you. It doesn't mean that they don't love you. They do love you at the level of their capacity. But you got to connect. You got to come back to yourself and ask yourself, what is it that nourishes my soul? And stop playing God. Because sometimes we project our own potential into our partners. First thing, we attract potential. Oh, but this person has got potential even though they're drinking. Let me just hold on. I believe that they're just wounded. If I can hold space for them, they will heal and love me. Who told you that you get to end love? You are projecting your potential. The universe is inviting you, calling you, putting you in that pain so that you can finally see the truth. But you are busy making love with pain because it's the pain that you witnessed. It's the pain that you saw your mother going through. It's the pain that was celebrated for many women. Those who were celebrated for being strong. And you want to hold the same illusion of strong, the same illusion of peace. You're afraid of being called a bitch, being called a witch, being called a whore just because you want more out of life. Those are the other three wounds, right? When you connect with your inner knowing, with your magic, your intuition, and you start speaking your truth, she's a witch. You start holding the man in your life into the highest potential, right? Instead of you making an excuse and say, they're just men, they're just like that. You're asking him to step up so that he can be the man that he was meant to be. You hold him into the highest standards instead of lowering your standards. Sometimes we hold into an illusion that men are afraid of me because I'm powerful, because I'm successful. Really? Or you are using that money to cover up for the wound that you are not willing to look at. That's why some of you, I've met different women, and some will be like, I don't date men who earn less than me. Why? Because it's a power play. You think having more money makes something, means something. And I'm not saying money is not important. It is. It's not even about what you do, what do you bring to the table? That's what you say. What do you bring to the table? Oh, I earn so much, I've got this. And who the fuck are you at the table? Can we start there? Do you understand who you are at that table? Who are you even when you don't have that? Who are you even when that relationship, that marriage collapses? What I find interesting is often when we talk about having different gods or whatever the religious Bible scripture says, we're thinking it's talking about the gods, you know, but it's talking about you making your job your God, you making your partner your God, right? You feel like without that person, you can't live. And Source is saying, wake up and realize the God that is within you, the God is that is within you. Wake up to the highest truth that desires to be expressed through you. And I still remember many years ago, I had 2 children. And yes, people talk, right? So I was kind of like in a dilemma where I knew this relationship was not for me. And people would be like, okay, people would be like, where are you going to find a man with 2 children? And sometimes it's not even people. This question came through from my mom when she said, where are you going to find a man while you have this light-skinned children, right? And that kind of like put the volume down a bit for me, and my ego, not only an ego, but my soul was not expansive in that relationship. So I had to ask myself some questions. And I remember back then I was smoking. I was going through a whole lot of shit. And I asked this question on a Monday. And I said, God, I just want to know, is this relationship really for me? I want to know. And I was not even so connected at the level that I am now. It was a time when I was ashamed of my gifts, when I was ashamed of who I was. And the only way to deal with that was numb it with alcohol. Sometimes people who are sensitive, when they don't know what to do, the only way that they deal with life is to numb it, right? So I asked that question. And Friday, I was sleeping. My phone rang. I picked up the phone. I didn't say a word. I just answered, dropped that thing while I picked up, and then never said anything. And this man was talking. Hello, baby, calling his girlfriend by his name. I love you and whatever. I don't know if they fought or whatever that happened when they were out, wherever that he was. And at the end, I said, hello. And he said, shit. That was my then boyfriend, the father of my 2 children. He called me, sharing his love with his girlfriend and all that, only to realize that he called me. That was still God that was talking. Actually, God was showing me, because I asked the question, is this relationship for me? Did I live? I didn't. Why? I didn't trust myself. I didn't have confidence in myself. I was not esteemed enough. I was buying into the stories of it's normal, of what I've seen, maybe he'll change. But God said, you prayed, I showed you. And some of you make stories that is the devil. No, it's not the devil. Sometimes the devil shows up in the form of your father, just transferring the wounds. Sometimes it's even in your form where you are fighting with yourself. You are fighting with your highest truth. You are fighting with your extraordinary self and holding into an illusion, making love with pain. Because when I left, it was still God. Oh my God. It was still God. I just received a message. Check his email. It was as simple as that. And I checked. Then I was like, I don't know the password. It popped in my mind. I fucking typed it. I got into the emails. And when I got home, the message that popped in my head was, why did you not read all the emails? Because I read many girlfriends, but there was one that I skipped from his sister-in-law. I skipped that one. And the following day, I went back and read the emails. Guess what I found? Yeah. There was a relationship between him and his sister-in-law. And that was like, it's like somebody really punched me in the gut. Did that have to happen for me to leave? Does that have to happen for you to leave? Why do you have to wait until your knees hit the floor? Why do you have to wait until you don't know who you are? Why can't you hold somebody's hand who said, I have been through all that shit? I experienced that, and I know how it is on the other side. You can make it about the other person, but yeah, it's what has been happening in your family, whether you want to admit it or not. Sometimes we want to protect the pain, our family. We don't want to talk about it. And I'm not saying go ahead and talk about your pain, because if you talk about a pain while you still identify with it, you're going to be judged, because that's the frequency that you emit, right? But if you have processed that, even if you share that, you are coming from, this is not who I am. It informs me. This is what many women who went before me, and even men, because I'm not talking about men to put them down. I'm talking about men to say, it's time that you do something so that your children don't have to go through the pain that you've put women through. Don't have to go through the pain that your father put your mother through. Sometimes we forget. You go through life as a child, you see your mother going through pain, and you're like, I'm not going to do that. I'll never abandon my child. And then you do it. And now it's like, I understand my dad. Life is hard. No. Stop making excuses and wake the fuck up. Stop making excuses. Do it for you, for your ancestors, for your lineage, for your children. And this is why it's when it comes to doing this work, you are not only releasing yourself, you are releasing those who came before you, and you are releasing your children as well. That's why I'm saying it's not an expense, it's an investment. And men often take pride in, oh, I gave this woman 10,000 pula, euros, USD, and all that. Now he's cheating on me. Why can't you invest that on yourself so that you can be a better person? So that you can now go and be in a relationship with somebody who you truly love. Because sometimes you settle for less as well as a man because you don't have the confidence in yourself. Your ego wants somebody that you can step on. That's not masculine. It's the wounded masculine that wants approval. It's the wounded masculine that wants somebody who you can feel better than. But when you truly love, you love somebody who you can partner and elevate each other into your unique essence. Somebody who you can be intentional and consciously create together. That's what love is. Not somebody who is threatened by a woman's magnificence, or vice versa, right? Because at the same time, here's the thing. I'm just gonna end this. Sometimes you want somebody who is less than you. That's what your mind tells you. But as much as that may be true, a woman who is insecure, the same as with a man who is insecure, cannot help you expand, evolve, elevate, or be successful. because there is a part of them that is afraid that if you get to be better, if you get to be you get into your next level of expansion, if you get to be your that highest potential, then you may leave them for somebody better. They may not say it, but their energy holds them back. And you make love, right? Or you have sex. What do you think happens? If my energy is not expansive, holding that space, seeing you as that, right? Being excited, being turned on by your ambitions, by your desires, what do you think you're creating? Then you're surprised that you're in a toxic relationship, or maybe it's not toxic, it's just meh, right? 7 years, 7 months, a year, you don't even touch each other. The conversations that you have, it's just about the weather, the children, the bills. And your business, you work hard, you make money. But as soon as you receive it, something happens. The universe is talking to you at all times. The question is, what are you willing to do about it? And I offer the experience where we get to jump on a session and work together one-on-one. So if you want to experience the experience, let me know. And on that note, I also have an upcoming, I call them free summits, sessions where I'm going to be offering them, those who are going to be showing live, you're going to jump in for free. You're going to be working on some stuff. So watch out for the next, I'll share more on when that is going to be. And please let me know if you're interested in that, because I've been called actually to do these free monthly calls, not just like activations, clearing sessions. And I haven't been doing it. So let me know if you're interested. I can invite you into my school community, and then you'll get the details when we are ready to do this. And also let me know if what topics would you like us to talk about? What is it that you'd like us to clear when I invite you into this monthly free activations and clearing? And let other people know who may be interested in this.